Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show.
So this is our next session, and what's smaller than tiny? Microscopic. That's all we're going to do today, and hope to do it safely. We want to have Sadie and Eve, when the butt rope is around their hips, step a couple steps forward and observe whether or not Sadie is going to pull her hip out. And if she does, rather than arguing with her, we're going to just drop the butt rope. And the reason we're going to be able to drop it is because both halter holders are going to have one butt rope end in their hands. And I'm going to be around the back connecting it and then applying pressure. We need to teach Sadie, the youngster, that she doesn't need to get spooked by pressure, that in fact what she needs to do is gently, confidently step away from it. That's what horse training is all about. You apply pressure, teach them to react to the pressure with confidence and respect, and then they learn. Because as soon as they give you the right answer, we remove the pressure, and that's their reward. We have some other ideas here. We have a rope with a loop. We have some very lightweight key rings, all of which we may or may not use today. They may be for another session. For today, if we can do this safely, successfully, and remove the pressure to let them know they're giving us the right answer, today we are simply going to use this butt rope with the halter holders holding it. Okay, so, and by the way, this white rope, it's kind of a quick release. It is connected to one of those key rings. Can you zoom in on that? If you pull ever so slightly on this, this very lightweight key ring will open up and the butt rope will drop. That's as our next alternative in case we don't want to have the halter holders continue to hold it, which of course we would prefer not to. So this is our microscopic step today. Notice they're extremely unstressed right this moment. And it's not a windy day for a change. Okay, you hold on to this. Actually, can you hold on to it with that hand so it is closer to Sadie? Okay, and I'm gonna, right, can you step over? Now Sadie is seeing this yellow rope on the ground by her, moving, she's not spooking. I'm gonna touch her right now on the hip, staying out of strike zone in case she kicks out, but she's not kicking out. And Angela, kind of hold it hard because I'm putting some pressure on her hip now. Can you see that, Everett, with the camera? Can you zoom in?
Well, I'll try.
Let's see if you can just look at Sadie's hip from that angle. And remember, I can't see when I'm over there, so you, Angela, have to let me know if we're getting into trouble. Now, we don't have britchin on. We don't want to break another set of britchin. We don't want to take a chance that there'll be a spook that we can't respond to safely. So right now we're just holding it up on the hip. Now I'm going around outside of their tails, not under their tails, because their tails can clamp down. Okay, so she stepped forward, right?
Yep.
Okay, Kyle, you try to hold it with your right hand. Hold it a little tighter.
Good girl.
There we go. We've got the butt rope on. The question is, can we walk forward? There's one more thing I want to do. I'm going to get, as quickly as I can, an arm extension so that if Sadie's hip comes out, maybe if I tap her with it, she'll say, oh, I guess this hip isn't supposed to come out. Okay, this is my favorite arm extension. It's just a buggy whip. Pretty long, very lightweight at the end. I have a problem here that I will try to fix by next time. Back here, all of these knots and these clasps are too heavy. So my butt rope is too far down here and continues to fall unless we keep a lot of tension. So I'm going to use a lighter weight carabiner on both ropes, and when I'm sure I have the length of rope that I need for this pair of horses, I'll cut off the end pieces. Okay, now the question is, can we go forward? And if she walks okay. In the past we've noticed that, but as soon as she stops, her hip comes out. I'm going to tap her a little bit, and you just drop it, both of you, kind of not with force, but let it drop away from their legs if possible, okay? So it can't get wrapped up in their legs. Okay, so Angela's going to give the cue to step up.
Step up.
You too.
Oh.
Whoop. Okay,
Oh.
there goes her hip. Good, drop it. That's it. She just doesn't understand that the hoe means stop all four legs, don't move the back, don't move the front. And Kyle, you just misunderstood and didn't realize you had to go forward?
Maybe I should have said it louder.
I thought she was just giving the cue and then we were both going to go. And
Yeah, okay. Let's line them up again. At least we didn't have a spook.
yeah.
Line them up again. We're going to try it one more time. You see how she's stepping on that rope, which concerns me. Could it get stuck around one of her legs? Okay, Kyle, come on up.
Oh.
With your right hand again. Now you see, she didn't spook because we dropped the pressure and she wasn't confused. I'm holding it up over the tail.
It's all right.
Pulling a little bit so it's touching her hip. Pull a little harder. That's it, to keep it up. Remember, it's too heavy back here. Okay, I'm gonna, go ahead. This time move when she says step up.
Eve, Sadie, step up.
Step up. Okay, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh.
Okay, not as bad, but still swiveling over her forehand. That's gonna be the pattern we have to change by applying pressure safely and not removing the pressure until she stops giving us the wrong answer. And then, when we get the right answer, instantaneously remove the pressure. That's how she'll learn. And that's what natural horsemanship is all about. Understand the way the horse thinks and try to give them reward and negative reinforcement for the right or the wrong answers. So you've seen our microscopic step today at Shadrach Farms with two Morgan mares who were teaching how to drive and ultimately to pull for farming in pairs.
Plan for next few sessions. Improve quick release holders for the butt rope. Ask for a couple steps back from each horse upon hoe request. Concentrate on not giving unintended lead line halter requests.
We've got a butt rope set up now so that we think we have a quick release. And Scott, my cameraman's going to walk up to Sadie, tell her you're walking up to her, and show on the camera what we think is going to be a safe, quick release in case Sadie spooks by this butt rope.
From last time we used a string, and the string was not strong enough to actually hold the butt rope up the entire time, but this cable that we have now should be strong enough so when there is a spook, it will actually break away, but it will be strong enough to hold this, the whole butt rope plus the quick release right here.
Okay. Now notice that I'm doing some desensitizing with this butt rope, which is now a double butt rope on both sides. Sadie's looking back at me. She said, "What's going on back there, Mom?" See, I'm pulling on her hip and Eve's hip. Okay, so the reason that we decided to start working on this butt rope idea is because we noticed in our last session that when Sadie didn't stop after we took our 3 forward steps, Angela's inclination was to pull her head with the lead rope, but that made her hip go towards Eve. So we decided that we would work on the butt rope to make sure that there's an easy way to have it hanging where it should be hanging, but quick release if we need to quick release it. Now watch, I'm going to quick release it right now. Can you zoom in? I'm going to pull. Let's say we're having trouble, and there we go. So that in the next few sessions we'll be working on it. Now what else is the issue? As I mentioned, it's the hoe and stop, not hoe and dance around the 4/4. So Katie's going to go on Sadie's Monty Roberts dually halter. On the ring side, we have the double-stranded nylon, which makes this flat nylon halter actually work like a rope halter. Eve just has a rope halter on. We're going to see if we can, with patterns, with understanding, make sure that Sadie and Eve understand that when we go forward and ask for a hoe, that they're to step back a couple steps and stand. That will take pattern recognition, and that will take willingness, and that will take a horse that's thinking and not being reactive. So we're going to work with the reactive side with the butt rope in another session. Right now it's just the repetition. So I'm going to step forward, and when I step forward with Eve, we'll take 3-4 steps. We're going to stop and see if we can get them to stay parallel in pairs, going backwards. And a good way to get backwards, motion, just let your hands, you see this? Okay, not pulling on the head if possible. If we have another person, or we might have our cameraman use the visual block, an arm extension, a windshield wiper motion indicates to my horses, just like this. Not touching them, just visual block, back, back, back. Then the question is, can we keep the hips together? Okay, step up, Eve, step up, Sadie. Steady, ho! I brought my hands up. We got a good hoe. Now let's do a back, 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 back. Good, whoa, good. I just watched a Rural Heritage show all about pairs of horses pulling farm implements. And it was very, very beautiful with the way those farmers got their pairs to do a right hand or a left hand 90-degree turn over the haunches. That's a long ways away for us. Right now, we just want them to go together without picking up their legs and maybe getting hung up in the butt rope or hung up over the harness pole when we eventually can use it. Just travel together and understand that the right answer is to travel together, whether it be frontwards, backwards, right or left. Right being G, left being ha. Okay, let's go again. Step up, Eve. Steady, whoa. Back, 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 back. Beautiful. That's even better than I thought. I would love to try the butt rope today, but not with just 3 people. If we had had problems, as I said, with the hips coming out, I would have had my cameraman come out here and help keep her hip, Sadie's hip over. But I just don't feel like it would be safe to try the butt rope with just 3 of us. I need at least 4 or more. So I'll tell you what we could do though. Just to finish out this lesson, which I'm now going to call tiny instead of microscopic, as we made some progress, we're going to do a step up and then a hot turn back into position. Okay, so step up for 3 or 4 steps and then a hot turn. Step up. Step up. Ha. 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 Good. Now you see we've got the speed control problem. Good. Ha. Ha. Then we're going to stop. Steady. Ho. Back. 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 Good. Good. We've got the speed control problem, and you know what we're going to have to do? But we'll need the harness for that with the collar. We're going to have to put the jockey stick on. And that will help the two horses to understand that their heads are supposed to stay together, and perhaps either speed Sadie up or slow Evie down. Eve has a much faster walk than Sadie. Eve can be a go-y horse. Sadie is a non-go-y horse, even though they're mother and daughter. Now we're going to do the same thing again. This time we're going to go G, and you give the command, and Eve and I will try to stay parallel with you.
Okay. Step up. Step up G. Step up G. Step up G. Steady. Oh. Back.
Back, back, back,
Back.
back, back.
Ooh.
Good. Now they're a little far apart. Our spreaders on our harness will allow that far apart, but I'm afraid the jockey stick won't. So we have to be concerned about, will either of the horses be stressed when that jockey stick pulls on their collar or on their halter? With a jockey stick, we put on the halter of the horse that needs the extra request, and on the collar of the horse who is pretty much giving us the right answers. So it'll be Sadie again that we'll be concerned about. Will she feel that jockey stick pulling on her halter? Will she get stressed? And how will we deal with it? But that's all right. That'll be the problem or the challenge for tomorrow. And that's what this livestock training is all about. Meeting the challenges from the point of view of the animal you're trying to train. A postscript. We're laughing because, it just seems like we're doing minuscule steps, but, and I've mentioned this on past shows, there is a book called Half-Broke Horses, and in it, it talks about a man who used to train pairs for driving and pulling, and he said in the book that it took him about 6 years to get a pair trustworthy working in pairs. So, okay, we've been doing this for about 1.5 years. We got a long ways to go. Another microscopic, maybe mini step on a windless day. Our next session, we have the jockey stick on. We are ready with our quick releases to put the butt rope on if all goes well with the jockey stick. I've got a short arm extension to request backwards motion when we ask for it without pulling real hard on the halter. We don't want to do the wiggle or any of those other things. We hope that we can just visually ask for backward motion, because as soon as we stop, we're going to ask for backward motion. And then I've got this arm extension that I'm going to maybe, unless Sadie's blowing up, we'll see, touch her on the hip if necessary to say, keep that hip from coming out. We feel if we don't pull on the halter, she won't push the hip in, and we feel that if she doesn't spook by the jockey stick, it will help her gently to realize that she's supposed to stay with her mother at speed. You remember we have quick releases, and my cameraman too. We have quick releases here on the jockey stick in case we have problems. And we do have the full harness on today. We want to make sure that this butt rope can fit from the collar around the two horses back to the collar again when we're ready to try it. Let's do a few steps forward. Katie, you give the command loud, and let's go.
Step up.
Good. And stop.
Steady. Oh.
Oh. Good. Good. Now we're going to do back.
Back.
Back. Back.
Back.
Back. Good.
Oh.
Oh. So they're a good distance apart. Still, I see body language of relaxation, but that can change in a split second. They're both heads down, eyes half closed, blinking, ears kind of back, listening. If you ask for a slight serpentine. That may be a complication, but it may be good because we need to keep them in forward motion. What do you think? A slight serpentine toward the camera.
I think I'll be fine. Eve's on the outside.
Yeah, and Eve's on the outside and Eve is asleep. All right. Okay, let's 3 steps toward the camera.
Step up.
Stop.
Steady. Oh.
And back, 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 back. Good.
Oh.
Whoa. Now, I feel that the jockey stick is tugging a little bit on Sadie's halter, and so far, she's been okay on it. So the next thing I want to do, I'm going to put this down here in front of the camera tripod. See if Sadie's okay on hooking up this butt rope to our quick release. And can you just move a little bit forward? I want a little bit forward. Okay. Can you zero in on that? So I'm going to hook up this clasp to this quick release so that if she does start to spook, let's see if it works. Yes, it will release nicely. It got her a little bit concerned. It's all right. We made this cable a little longer so that we could have a good cradle here for the clasp. Scissor snap to the cradle. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. She's feeling it. She's feeling it. I may not go all the way to Eve today. She's feeling it on the side. I have to watch for the kick up. We have one of those. It's all right. We have one of those quick releases back here, which I can go through pretty confidently, because if we have to quick release, I believe it will quick release too. Then I can take the other butt rope, connect the scissor snaps. It's all right, but I want to go under her tail. She's clamping her tail down. You know she is. So I'm not going to go under her tail today. That's something we're going to have to work on. Desensitize her a little more to that tail pressure. Now see how the butt rope is touching her? It's all right.
Oh.
Be aware that you may have to pull that quick release off. Come around here. Good. Eve's back leg is cocked. She's not having any problem with this whole idea, so I'm going through my quick release for Eve, again on top of her tail. Watching Sadie's body language. Coming around. Noticing that I'm a little bit short, and thank goodness I didn't cut off any of it. I'm just going to extend it. A little bit short to reach the quick release on Sadie's collar on her left. But notice that I'm pulling on, on Eve's collar to her left. Notice I'm pulling on Sadie's butt rope. It's pulling her tail in. Eve is not paying attention at all. I'm going along Eve's hip, her left hip. Sadie's looking. She certainly feels it. Gonna come back out. I'm gonna quick release from Eve's tail, collar, quick release from Sadie's quick release, and a quick release from her her harness collar rather than from the dog collar in the back. But I believe if we were having a spook, it would quick release from there too. So eventually, we hope we won't need quick releases. But remember what I said in our postscript last time. We read a book, both Katie and I did, called Half Broke Horses, and in it was described a man who did pairs training. He was the father of the author, I believe, wasn't it, Katie? And she said that the father said it took him 6 years to prepare a pair for pairs driving and pulling. So we'll keep using the quick releases until we're quite confident that we have a pair that are willing to move together with a butt rope, with a jockey stick, to go G and ha, to stop and back. And then, when we have a team big enough, like 4 or 5 people, I would say. Can you zoom over there? There's our harness pole that we made from an ABS pole and some PVCs at each end with a bunch of quick releases on it. And we have had both Eve and Sadie in the harness pole individually with a human being holding up the other side of the pole. So we'll do that again. We'll do that again here in the grass. This was over in another more controlled space in a driveway, like a sanded driveway area. We'll do it here in the grass. And one small step at a time, we'll get them to feel comfortable driving together with the harness pole, and in which case we won't need the jockey stick. And maybe by then we won't even need the butt rope. It's just a training tool. And we'll go on to become farming people here at Shadrack Farms. As a postscript and as a window to what's ahead and as a review, we decided to put the cross-check reins on, which meant we also had to put the bridles on. With Sadie, we use a broken snaffle. With Eve, she seems to go better in a side pull, which has a rawhide noseband. Eve is asleep, Sadie's asleep. We did this today because it's such nice weather, even though we're in the beginning of December. We're afraid the weather's going to change radically soon and we won't have an opportunity to practice out here where the mares graze a lot. They're usually just very relaxed out here, but it's a wide open space. There's roads around it, so if they do spook due to a wind or whatever, we're worried that the weather will have a lot to do with causing the spook. So we just are showing you that when we're ready for the harness pole to go between them, we'll have these cross-check reins on, which is one pair of reins in Katie's hands. She's the driver back there, and yet controlling 2 horses, because the reins have extra branches that come to each horse and give us control of the right and left side of each horse's head. So now you've seen what's the plan for the near future, we hope.
See more at www.urbancowgirlchannel.com.